Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, whatever one it happens to be for you. I hope you are doing very well on this funny morning this morning. I don't know about anyone else, but last night was a bit of a rough night in England because we had some mad storms. I've never seen storms like it. I don't know if anybody else has, but the lightning was like continuous and it was crazy. I am Mia, by the way, if you didn't already know, as my name says down there. And yeah, we've got plenty to talk about with Tottenham. I've been looking through, and instead of doing a video this morning, I thought that I would do a live because there is so much to talk about. So I've been looking up. So we'll talk about, firstly, I think probably the Mbeumo news. There's been conflicting reports. So there's been reports that we've actually put down an offer, but on the other hand, it's been said that we haven't put down an offer. So it's a bit of a strange one. I think that the likelihood is we're talking to him, but it looks like he really does want to go to Man United, in my opinion. I think that unless Man United mess that up, I just can't see it happening. He is a Man U fan, I think, as well. So I don't know, like I just feel like that it is unlikely. But it says like, so Sammy Mockbell said that Tottenham are yet to submit a bid for Mbeumo. So I think that, again, like I say, I just don't think that we have, because I think they probably spoken to his people, and his people probably said, well, actually, we think that he wants to go to Man United more, so it is really unlikely that he will be swayed. That's the only thing I can really think of, to be honest with you. But I just, yeah, like I say, I honestly can't see it happening. Let me know what you guys think. But in all honesty, I just can't see it. I really can't. And then also, we apparently held internal conversations whether to make a move for Whistler as well. So, yeah, we look like we are going for some Brentford players. I know that some of them have said, no, we're not able, because we can't dismantle them. I doubt that Brentford will allow that to happen. So, even though it's like the big one is in Mbeumo, I honestly can't see that happening. I really can't. I think it's a done deal with Man U, unless, like I say, something goes horribly wrong with them. I just can't see it happening. I really can't. Let me know. Do you think it will happen? Do you think that's a possibility? Because I don't know. I just don't see it. How about Whistler? We've been linked with a few Brentford players, so it's a really tough one, because I think we're going to be linked because of Frank. So I think that's obviously a bit of a consequence, basically, of having Frank, is that we are going to be linked with every single player from Brentford, pretty much. So I honestly can't see that happening, in my humble opinion. Then we also have the news of Sonny. Heung-min Son is expected to leave Tottenham this summer and has offered on the table from Fenerbahce worth 12 million a year. So it's been linked. He's been linked to Saudi, which I can't see him doing. I just don't think he is like that. I can see him maybe going back to Germany. Fenerbahce, I don't know. I don't know if that is just media speculation, or if he would really consider going there. the news is that he will be leaving now. I think that a lot of people have actually accepted that he will be leaving, and Sonny only did the extension so we could get some actual money for him. So yeah, as I said, I don't think that I would be, if he wants to go, I don't think I'll be like, oh no, like we must keep him, because I think if he wants to go, but if he doesn't want to go, I'm not going to push him out the door, because I do think he's a good role model, and I do think that a lot of people say we need players to learn from. And although he's slowed down slightly, he's still got, he's still got that skill, and that never fades. And when you look at him, he's both-footed equally, which is a very rare trait to have. And I think that players that are younger can learn a lot from him. So again, like I say, I wouldn't kick him out the door. Like I wouldn't be like, come on, Sonny, off you go. But if he wants to go, cool. Like I say, it'll be sad, but I'm glad that he managed to lift the trophy with us. That's the one thing I will say, is that he got what he wanted, which was always like to lift a trophy, and that's why he stayed with us. So I very, very, very much appreciate that from Son, I must say. So let me know again what you think about that. Let me know. Do you think that Sonny should go? Would you keep him? Let me know what you guys think. The next thing is that Tottenham apparently have taken High Court legal action against Ineos, who, of course, now are to do with Man United. The commercial listing under General Commercial Contracts and Arrangements, Tottenham have lodged a claim against Ineos Automotive Limited. They claim likely related to Ineos attempting to withdraw the 5-year deal agreement in 2022, which made Ineos Granada Car the club's official 4x4 vehicle partner. So they've got, I think, names on the chairs because they're sponsors. And yeah, I think there was a deal going on from what I've heard, and that Daniel Levy said something about paying it off or something. And I don't know if they obliged or what. It's an interesting one because Ineos obviously feel like they've got a reason that they could cancel the contract. But then we obviously at Tottenham feel like they didn't. So the outcome will be very interesting. If we get some money from Manchester United, from Ineos, that would be, again, quite funny, considering that we want one of the players that they're aiming for. And of course, if they have to give us money, will that affect it at all? Probably not. But it is just a bit funny that we're obviously suing them. Let me know what you think. Do you think it'll be settled out of court? Which I think is probably most likely is a settlement out of court, because that would obviously be easier than to have to go through all of the thing of going to court, etc. I think that probably is more likely than not to happen. Again, there's so much stuff to talk about today. Kyle Walker has come out and spoken, and he said he'd probably give up one of his Premier League wins to win with Tottenham. So he'd give up that trophy to win with Tottenham. He actually speaks like very glowingly about Tottenham. He always seems to have that affinity with Spurs. He was with us a really long time. So I think that we do mean a lot to him. Like, I do really think that. I think that we do mean a lot to him. And he seems to speak, like I say, quite in a quite affectionate way when he does talk about us. So I think that's quite nice that he obviously feels like that. And there's quite a few players who feel like that. When you looked when we won in the Europa League, yes, we are still Europa League champions. A lot of players come out and were happy for us. A lot of our ex-players, you saw Lucas Moura watching it and celebrating when we won it. So I think that is really lovely that we've still got players who still feel that way about Tottenham, and there must be a reason for that. There must be a reason why they still feel so linked to Tottenham. Maybe the way the fans made them feel, maybe it's the club, maybe it is the fans as well. Like, it could be multiple things, but it's really lovely that he obviously has come out and said this. Let me know what you think about Carl Walker coming out and speaking about Spurs. We also had Justin Cochrane come out and say about the Tottenham job. He said, well, what can I say? Back to where I started in 2009. I'm delighted to be joining Spurs official. I can't wait to get started. The club gave me my first job, and now after 16 years of working very hard, getting qualified and making an impact wherever I've been, I'm back. Let's go. So yes, he did start. He done his badges with Mason at Tottenham. So it is a bit of a full circle moment. He works with the England team as well. He's very highly regarded, and yeah, it's good. It's nice to have him back. I watched a couple of videos where you can hear him talking to the players, instructing the players, and he obviously he gets very into it. He's a very vocal coach, and I think he will be a fantastic member of the team. As I've said, I think changing up the whole team is a really, really good thing. I think that it's really important for us to have those new voices in the squad, like in amongst the squad. I think that it's a really good idea, because sometimes the same voices over and over again, you don't take as much notice. You get a bit like, nah, I've heard this before. Oh, I heard you like how many years now? It's something to freshen it up. And when it comes to being instructed, etc., I think he's somebody who has worked as well with the England squad, so he knows some of these players, and I think it's actually a really good thing. And I'm looking forward to seeing him and the rest of the coaching staff and what they can do, what they will do. So yeah, I'm excited, man. I'm really excited actually to get going with this new project, to see what it will bring. So yeah, it was nice that he is obviously tweeting out and he is excited about it. So it is really good, and I'm sure that the players want to get going as well. And we have announced that our first game with Thomas Frank will be with against Luton Town on the 26th of July at 3 o'clock. So that will be Thomas Frank's first ever game. We've actually got quite a few games. We've got Arsenal, we've got Newcastle, we've got Bayern, and also, of course, we've got the PSG game. So there is quite a few tough games in there for him to get hold of. So yeah, that's going to be very good and good to see. Good to see what he'll implement in that short period of time. Of course, it isn't a very long time, so I'm not expecting the whole world, if I'm honest. Then we're going to go on to what was said by Mikey Moore. He's the actually only one that's come out, I think, so far and said anything since Frank's been appointed. Of course, we had the Romero tweet, but that was about Ange. That kicked obviously a lot of fuss up. We can talk about that as well. He said, with Ange, I'm thankful to him. He gave me an opportunity to go and show people what I could do. Now I'm just excited to get back and hopefully go and impress the new manager, try and show what I can do really. I started away at Brentford where obviously he was in charge, and I played against his team before. I've heard that he's a good man and a good manager. One of the boys here with the under-19s worked under him and said good things about him. So I'm just excited to get going under him really. So that's really nice that that Mikey Moore's come out and said this. I think maybe people think it's maybe a bit of a dig at Ange because he gave him his opportunity and now he's saying to get back and hopefully go and impress the new manager. But I don't think it is. I think that it's a young guy who wants to get minutes, who wants to work hard to prove himself, which I love that attitude. I think that Mikey Moore has got a really, really good attitude. And the fact that someone in the under-19s has also spoke to him and said really good things about Frank, that's also good. I think that's a really good glowing report of what he is as a manager and as a coach. So yeah, I think that's really good. I like that. I like that he's come out and said something. I don't think that's a negative thing, like I say. I think that it's good, and I think that people are always going to jump on everything now. I think that people always now are going to be like, oh, this player said this, oh, this player said that. and does it mean this, does it mean that? But they're professionals. Overall, they're professionals, and when a new manager comes into any job, you just have to get on with it, don't you? And if you don't want to get on with it, you can go. Like, I just don't want that attitude in the dressing room if that's what you're going to be like. And of course, like, we had Romero come out, and people said the timing was a bit strange because it was just after Frank was announced. Was that done on purpose? We don't know. The time difference, we don't know. But what I will say is that normally he does write in Spanish and it gets translated. So I'm a bit like, well, he actually wrote that in English, and I don't know if somebody wrote that for him. This is me just speculating because the words that he used in the way that it was worded didn't sound like it was a direct translation, because you can tell when it's directly translated because the way that people say things in Spanish is different. So I feel like somebody's said to him, "What do you want to say?" and they put it in a way that maybe is more palatable for people who are going to read English, because the way it was worded didn't really sound like Romero. I don't know why, but for me, it didn't really sound like him. It sounded, like I say, like somebody he dictated it to. I'll go over it again. I did already speak about this on my one of my other videos, but I'll tell you what it said again. Ange, thank you for these 2 incredible seasons. You're a fantastic coach, but above all, a great person who deserves the best. From day one, you paved the way despite many obstacles that always existed and always will exist. Beyond everything, we won a trophy and went down in the history of this beautiful club, which is the only thing that matters. And I wish you the best because you deserve the best. And thank you for everything. So, for me, I feel like that, again, like I say, I've read his previous posts. I know that he writes things in Spanish a lot. He very rarely writes anything in English. And when you translate it, because of the way it translates, it's like, see, one of these other posts says, another moment that will be etched in the rest of my life, etched for the rest of my life. See, like, another moment, like, it's not like, it's, I don't know, like the way that it's worded. Grateful and very happy to experience all this. So that's obviously the way they've translated it. So that's what it feels like. It feels like somebody's translated it for him. And I don't know whether that you can really take much from that. Although people are saying, oh, it's a dig at leaving the board because of the obstacles. But then people don't like the board and they don't like Levy. So I'm a bit confused by that one. But I don't know if it was a direct dig at them, because you don't know, because you're not him. Unless you ask him specifically what he meant, I just don't know if you can really take much from that. His first language isn't English. So he might have got someone to translate, and you don't know what he originally said in Spanish to translate it into that, because the words, like I say, are slightly different. The wording is slightly different. So I don't know. I can't really take much from it. I don't know about anybody else, but for me, I didn't take much notice of that. If he wants to leave, he'll leave, and he'll obviously push to leave. The reports are that nobody is going to come in for him because of the price tag. So we've put quite a high price tag on him, and they're saying that nobody is going to actually pay that. So no suitors have indicated that they will be willing to match Tottenham's 70 million asking price for Cristian Romero, and that was Simon Mockbell of the BBC. So I just don't think that anybody will pay that for him. I'm going to be honest. Like, I don't think they will. He's got 2 years left on his contract. So if somebody wants him, they have to really pay up the money. And if he's happy to stay, then I don't know whether people really want to push him out, because he's a fantastic defender. I think people will say about, oh, he's rash, he gets red cards, but I actually don't think that he does. If you look at his record isn't actually that much. Like, he doesn't get all of that red cards every single season. I don't think it's as bad as what people make out, if I'm honest with you. I just don't think it is. And it's a shame that people put that label on him, and it actually isn't true. He can bring the ball out from the back. He's got a fantastic pass on him. We've seen how much leadership he did show in the final. So I don't know what really people want, if I'm honest with you. I think that he is a really good player, and I think keeping him is important. We already knew he had an injury problem when we bought him, and that it had to be managed. And so I think one of the injuries he got, I think when he come back, he got a different injury. So it wasn't that one wasn't a reoccurring one or something. I'm sure that's the case. So yeah, like I say, I would personally want to keep him. And if nobody's going to give us that money for him, and if you don't want to leave, then for me, I wouldn't push him out the door. I really wouldn't. I just don't know why anybody would want to push him out the door and say, "Oh, get him out. He's unprofessional," etc., etc. When a lot of people, they don't even like him. They don't even like him. So they don't even like Levy. So I don't understand. People were moaning about Daniel Levy getting insulted, and they don't like Daniel Levy in the board. But also, you've got to understand that when it comes to obstacles, it doesn't necessarily mean just that. It means there's so many things that could be obstacles, and people were just assuming. And we all know that assumption isn't great. And so I just think, like I say, people are also projecting because they don't like the ball, so they're assuming that's what he means, and then getting on to him about it, which again I don't really understand when people don't like the ball. So yeah, I don't think that he is somebody who is unprofessional and is speaking that out of turn. I don't think that he has done anything particularly wrong. Maybe the timing was a little bit off, but we don't know what that was due to. So yeah, it's a bit of a funny one, but let me know all your comments in the comment section. I will try and reply to everybody, and let me know what you think about all the topics that I covered. As I say, it's interesting times at Tottenham at the moment. I'm always going to give a manager time. I'm fully on board with Frank, and I want him to do well. I really do. My point will always be, and I keep repeating this, is that it's the disrespect for Ange that I didn't like. It's the disrespect and disregarding of what he has done, and also the playing down of the trophy that he has won. So I think that's what annoys me. We haven't won anything in 17 years, and we haven't won that trophy in over 40 years. So I think for me, that disrespect is so unnecessary. It is so unnecessary. And I think that's where I come across like I'm an Ange lover, when I'm not. I'm actually just defending the manager for winning us something. And whoever won us something, I probably would have done the same. If people were being disrespectful about it, I would have said, listen, man, they won us a trophy. Like, you can't say nothing. Even if it was Conte, and I don't really like Conte, I would have said, listen, he won us a trophy, man. That's what we all wanted. We all wanted that trophy, and we got that trophy. So I can't for the life of me understand why people are disrespecting it. I really can't. I just think that it's a madness. It's an absolute madness that people are being so disrespectful when it comes to it. So, yeah, it's a funny old world in the Tottenham sphere, because a lot of people, when we were getting fourth, third, second with Poch, were saying that's not a trophy, which is not a trophy, and that he needed to win us something. And then we've got Postecoglou, who wins us something, and because people don't like the manager, that is disrespected. And you can't do that. You can't pick and choose what managers are acceptable to have a trophy and what managers are. Like, that's not how it works. They win you a trophy, they win you a trophy. And that is massive, especially because it's a European one. And I think that is huge. Like, that's a massive thing to win a trophy. And I just, like I say, for the life of me, cannot understand where people are coming from when it comes to the trophy thing, where people are just saying, oh, forget about the trophy. You can't forget about the trophy. You can't forget about the trophy at all. In my countdown at the end, that was me recording when we went to the parade, and that was literally the best time actually I've ever had as a Tottenham fan. That feeling was amazing. Being at the stadium to watch it, that feeling was amazing. When I was at Tottenham Stadium with all those people, 50,000 people I think it was, or 40 or 50,000 people watching the game together. And then you've seen all the fans in Bilbao, we were massive. Like, we just took over Bilbao, and we managed to fill our stadium with that many people. And there's still people in pubs, and of course people abroad. You see pubs full in all different places, all Tottenham fans. So it just shows you what a massive like fan base that we have. We've got a huge fan base. So I think people underestimate us for sure. But then again, like I say, people have definitely underestimated this trophy and what it actually means. I think it means a lot to a lot of people, and it doesn't matter who bought it for us. Like, at the end of the day, I know that 17th is never acceptable, but what I will say is that that trophy was so important that I think for one season we can forgive it, and I do think it was a bit of an anomaly. I don't think that's going to happen again. I really never thought that would happen again. A lot of people said our squad is a lot better than that to finish that low, and I agree. I don't think we'll finish that low again. It was just one of those things. It really just was one of those things. So yeah, like I say, I don't get it personally. That's just me. People might think, like I say, that I'm upset about Ange. I was upset about Ange, but I'm not now. We've got Thomas Frank, so I'm backing Thomas Frank, and I will fully get behind him. My expectations for this season, as I keep saying, is to be as high up in the league as possible. So anywhere between 8th and, I don't know, 5th, maybe if we get 5th, but I don't think we will. And then to get as far as possible in the League Cup and the FA Cup. As far as the Champions League, if we get out of the stages of the table stages, that would be amazing. I just can't see that happening somehow. But if we do, if we have to go and play a playoff game and we win that and get through, cool. I'll be happy with that, because I wouldn't expect too much. Like, I'm not expecting too much of Thomas Frank for his first season, and I think that's fair. I think that's a fair way to see it. But in the second season, if he continues, then yeah, the expectations will go up slightly, depending on what we do. And I think that we should always be aiming to be going as far as possible in these cup runs, because they're important for us to keep winning. If we get into the Europa League next season, again, I would want us to go as far as possible and try and win it again, like 100%, because that's gettable. I think the ones that are gettable are the ones you should go for. There's no point of trying to obtain something that you can't get. The Premier League and the Champions League, I feel like it's too far out of our reach at the moment. And it's not a disrespect to Tottenham, but I just don't think we're there. So as far as possible in cups we can get, then I think that's fair. I think that's a fair way to try and build and to win stuff, because I think that's what you should be aiming for. We've always been a cup team. We haven't won the league since the 60s, so I feel like that's something that's unobtainable and not something that we do. And if you look in the records, most of the time, I think pretty much 99% of the time, when we have won a cup, we've never finished that high in the league, in all honesty. But we still continue to win cups. So for the people who say you have to be up there to win the cups, more people that win them are up there. Okay, I understand that, because that is factually true. But as a team, for Tottenham, that's not factually true. So it's a bit of a difficult one. But yeah, of course I want us to be higher up in the table. I don't want us to be finishing 17th. Of course not. But like I say, for me, the cup runs are important, and getting into those finals, semi-finals, it breeds that winning thing. What do we always look at when we look at clubs, how big they are? It's about how many trophies they've won. So it isn't what league position they finished in, it's about what trophies they've won. So I think that is always going to be important in my eyes. To me anyway. I don't know about everybody else. Let me know what you think. What is glory to you? Because the game is about glory. For me, it's about trophies. And so that's what I always thought that it was in that. Well, I think it is. And I thought that was what was meant. But maybe people think it's different. So let me know. Like, I'd love to know what you think is glory, because when we say the game is about glory, there has to be a specific sort of a specific sort premise of what you think glory is. And I don't know if glory can be that different for that many people. So I wouldn't really say that it can be much else but winning, surely. Like if you looked up the meaning of it, let's see. Okay, it's a bit difficult because it's in the context of like high renown or honour won by notable achievement. So to highly renown or honour won by notable achievement. So winning, right? So I would say that glory is about winning. Yeah, I think that for me that's what it is. So yeah, we'll have to obviously wait and see if Thomas Frank can bring us that glory, like what Ange Postecoglou did. And I would hope that he can win us something, and I would be more than happy if he won us something. I would be just as happy as what I was with Ange Postecoglou, and I would celebrate it exactly the same way. And if anyone was disrespectful about him, I would do the exact same thing and say, "Why are you disrespecting him? He won us the trophy." So yeah, I'm going to leave it there. Thank you so much for joining me. Please make sure you smash that like button and the subscribe button. It don't cost a thing, and it really does help me to try and get the channel going. It pushes it out to more people, which is really, really helpful for me. So please make sure that you do that, as that would be fantastic. Please take very good care of yourselves, and we'll speak again real soon.